In this video, I will give my opinions about several issues, several topics, several worldwide topics. Quick, quick opinions. My opinion about Russia and Ukraine. I think Ukraine is a puppet of the United States doing what they always do. You know, interfere with other people's business. Similar to what the Spaniards did when they came to Mexico and encountered the Aztecs. They came as friends. They got two people fighting each other. And when they was done destroying each other, the Spaniards just killed the rest of the remaining people. That's what they got Ukraine and Russia fighting each other for. They get Russia and Ukraine to exhaust their military, destroy each other, fight to the bitter end, and the United States come in and take over both countries. That's my opinion about that situation. My opinion about the massacre of the 10 black people in Buffalo, New York. I think white society is a coward. They seem to use the black people as a scapegoat to justify their shortcomings. They don't have the courage to really attack a group of people who have a country to defend them. They wouldn't dare attack Chinese people like that. They have, but as far as like on this level, there was a situation in Australia when a so-called white supremacist live streamed going into a mosque and killing at least 50 people. Nothing was done. The Arab world did not retaliate against that. They let them get away with that. Synagogues, when they get, attacked, policies happen. People go to jail. Or they might just say, okay, they might got the similar situation. The Jews want to be cool with the white people, so they willing to tolerate that, sweep that under the rug. The Arabs, they was willing to tolerate that because they want to be cool with the white people, so they let that go, sweep that under the rug. The Chinese people, in a similar aspect, they seem to tolerate brutality and racism when it comes from white people. But when they saw the black people doing it, allegedly, you got people with theories saying that was all staged. But policies was passed, anti-Asian American crime bill. So it's illegal to do any type of discrimination against so-called Asian people. But the blacks, we don't really have a government or a nation that's allied. We're just sitting ducks, hoping one day that this country will be benevolent enough to do us right. But there's really no retaliation unless the retaliation comes by way of the streets, the marches. And that was proven with the so-called Black Lives Matter riots of 2020. Also, the Civil Rights Movement. The black people took it to the streets and retaliated, but there was no government that intervened on our behalf. Similar to how in World War II, the entire world intervened on behalf of the Jews to fight Hitler. But that's my situation on that. That's my opinion. This happened because white society knows the black people don't have allies. Also, they understand that the black Democrats will tolerate this treatment because similar to how the Arabs and how the other groups tolerate it, they want to be cool with the white people. They're not really going to do anything about it. They're really going to find a way to project it and blame and reflect it back on blacks and talk about what about black on black crime, because all of them have aspirations and fantasies to be accepted by this society. And people understand that. They know there's no allies, there's no real repercussions that's going to happen. United States government is white supremacist. They're not going to do a RICO case and link all the white nationalist groups, the white supremacist groups together and charge them for what a few of their members are doing, similar to what they're doing to the rappers, Young Thug and Gunna and their group. They just took them down. They take black groups down, but the Ku Klux Klan is still operating, ingrained in the society. They probably are the ones who's in charge of doing these investigations. That's why the investigations never happen. And we got the so-called Negro that goes into these positions. They see, they seem to target blacks also. You never really see black attorney generals or people with these positions of power, state's attorneys. I would say Kim Fox is doing it in Chicago. She's taking it to the white supremacist police officers, and she's vindicating a lot of people who were victims of the crooked police. But you don't really see it on a massive national level that these politicians that have the potential and power to charge these people with these crimes or to trigger these investigations. Barack Obama didn't even do it, and Dylan Roof happened when he went to that church in I think in South Carolina and killed those 10 people. Barack Obama was the president. He could have triggered an investigation into white supremacy, RICO charges. He didn't even do it, and he's the top official. He was a top official in the United States. But all of them have dreams and fantasies of being in this utopia, and they're willing to tolerate brutality, segregation, denigration. And that's my opinion on that situation. My opinion on Kevin Samuels. I wasn't really a follower of him. I was a follower. I was subscribed to his channels, but I subscribed due to the fact that, one of his videos went viral. He said the woman was average at best. And I assumed the totality of his content was more like a relationship coach dealing with black woman issues, similar to how Farrah Gray, the son of Khalid Muhammad, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, he's on Instagram and all he talk about is black men, black women relationships, women pandering. And I thought Kevin Samuel was all about women pandering, and that's like diluted, and I wasn't really interested in watching his videos. But after he died, I was more interested because I saw how many black men was affected by it. I say it has to be more than just him pandering to women. So I started watching some of his interviews, and the first interview I saw, he was talking about image, how image is everything, and image is a tool. He was talking about, he defined image as like the ABCD: appearance, behavior, communication, and your digital footprint. He was recommending different places to get high-end fashion clothes, whatever, for cheap. It was things that he said in that one interview that I benefited from. This one interview, he was just being interviewed by somebody. I'm like, this guy really was about empowering the black male, the black man. So I started watching more of his videos, and I actually think that his image, it was beneficial for the mainstream, but his back catalog is beneficial for the future. The future so-called black males. So he's almost like, I call him a prophet, because in the Bible, God said he always sent a prophet to the people that speak their language that's of them. And he is of one of us. He was a product of a single mother household. He's a black American. He actually pulled himself up from his own bootstraps, and he came back and reached back in his later years to help the black people with their image, with life lessons. And he really didn't charge money. Like most of these people on YouTube, they talk about Bitcoin investment, but they never give you what you need to actually succeed. They just give you enough to want to purchase their product or purchase their course. Kevin Samuel gave you everything. He didn't have like a school. I think he was an image consultant where he had clients outside of YouTube, but the things he was telling people on YouTube, he gave it freely. Similar to how they say Jesus fed the multitude with a couple of pieces of fish and a couple of pieces of bread. These other people I follow, they don't really even give you bread or fish. They want you to subscribe to their Patreon. They want you to purchase their course for $4,000 or $5,000. They don't even give you the basics of what they're talking about. They just talk fancy language. Kevin Samuels didn't even have a book. He didn't even write a book. He didn't produce a documentary to tell you to go purchase his book, his documentary, to get this money. He gave this information freely, and what that let me know was that guy really didn't need the money. He must have already had a lot of money before he came to YouTube, because the stuff he's giving out, a person would have been trying to profit off that. Even though you're profiting off of, you have what you call it, when you actually selling products, you have like links in there to stores, whatever they call that. And also you got advertisement. You got thousands, hundreds of thousands of viewers, so you're getting paid by Google, and you're like, you Amazon, you got Amazon links, whatever they call that. But he was getting paid on the back end. But other people want to get paid on the back end and the front end. They don't want to give up any information to benefit you. So this guy actually did pay it forward. And I never really purchased anything from him, but I benefited from the videos I saw, his old videos. It was inspirational, informative, and I think his legacy, like, there's nothing he could do with the money now because he's obviously not here anymore. But immortality starts after you die. If you could live longer than, because we live in our people's memories, but if you have work, like Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. He was on trial for corrupting the youth, whatever you want to interpret that as. But they gave him two choices. He could either take a death penalty or get exiled. But if he get exiled, he get erased from history. He chose to take the death because he didn't want to get his life erased, because he wanted people to learn from his life's lessons and his discussions, his dialects, his whatever you want to call it, his conversations through life, his books. Because his students wrote the books. He didn't really write anything, allegedly, if he did exist. But you don't really live until you die. And this guy's life is still living. Like, it's almost like he has so many videos. It's almost like he's still alive. He has over 800 videos. That's over 2 years worth of. If you watch a video every single day, it'll take 2 years to watch these videos, or you could binge the videos. But some of these videos are 2-3 hours long. So it's a life. It's a life's worth the work that this guy left with truth and substance. And this guy wasn't trying to sell it like a lot of other people was trying to sell the information. Even though there's nothing wrong with selling the information, but you got to be willing to give out something also. It can't just all be, give me the money. But that's my opinions about these 4 topics, I think. These 4 topics. Ukraine, the mass shooting, Kevin Samuels, and I did touch on the Rico situation with the rappers. Yeah.